Welcome to the President's Diary, a weekly program where we highlight the work of His Excellency Dr. Muhammad Irfaan Ali. President Ali, in his Pagwa Day message on Sunday, March 28, said the festival reminds us that our lives are like the seasons, subject to fortune and uncertainty, but that renewal and rebirth follows every unwelcome circumstance.
Pagwa is a celebration of rebirth. It commemorates the regeneration of the land. Also known as Holi, Pagwa is a time to renew our relations with and to reconcile with friends and family. The festival provides an opportunity to recommit to the values of love, friendship, empathy, and sharing.
The President also urged Guyanese to adhere to the COVID health protocols.
The vaccination campaign, which we have launched, will help to protect our people and eventually allow us to exiting this pandemic. Of that, we can be sure. We can be confident that by next year, we shall be able to return to the exuberant public celebrations traditionally associated with this most splendid and glorious festival.
On Monday, March 29, His Excellency addressed a virtual meeting of heads of state and government on international debt architecture and liquidity, on financing for development in the era of COVID-19 and beyond. The Guyanese leader said developed countries must honor their pledge to allocate at least 0.7% of their gross national income to the official development assistance program.
The President says this would provide much-needed aid to developing countries, especially at this time when the economic and social fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic is challenging their abilities to mount relief and recovery efforts.
Of the 29 member countries of the Development Assistance Committee, only 4, Denmark, Luxembourg, Norway, and Sweden, met or exceeded the 0.7% target. Guyana therefore urges the developed countries, particularly the DAC countries, to make concerted efforts to increase their ODA allocations to the 0.7% target.
President Ali also appealed to developed countries and international lending institutions to increase funding to support small developing states in their response to natural and biological disasters.
The pandemic has highlighted the importance of international economic cooperation. Such cooperation to assist developing countries better shoulder their debt burdens has never been more imperative as it is now.
Meanwhile, President Ali urged developed countries and international financial institutions to immediately revisit and reform the existing international debt framework to make it more responsive to the needs of developing countries.
The head of state applauded the recent initiative of the International Monetary Fund to provide a special drawing rights of US $650 billion. President Ali says this would enhance global liquidity and help countries navigate the risks and adverse effects of the pandemic.
Given the reality that many poor countries are saddled with debt distress, we advocate for broad-based debt relief to developing countries through international frameworks similar to the Paris Club arrangements, such as the Heavily Indebted Poor Countries, the HIPIC Initiative, and the Multilateral Debt Relief Initiative.
On Tuesday, March 30, President Ali challenged the local business community to position itself to benefit from the national economic transformation by adopting a bolder approach to business. The head of state made the call in his feature address at the 131st Annual General Meeting of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Economic transformation demands a new mindset. The private sector must begin to think bigger, bolder, braver, and brainier. In other words, it must become more ambitious, less risk-averse, and more innovative. There is no time to be lost. The COVID-19 pandemic has set back business prospects, but the impending economic recovery must become the impetus for the private sector to upscale its ambitions and upgrade its capacity.
President Ali also called on the business community to plan not only for the local market but for the regional and international markets as well.
The expanding local market must become the springboard for extending the local business communities' reach into large international global economies and markets.
Early on Tuesday, His Excellency joined family members of the late Clyde Roopchan at his final resting place in Buxton, East Coast, Demerara, to pay his respects. Mr. Roopchan, a former chief planner of the Ministry of Finance, passed away in 2016. He was awarded the Cassie Crown of Honour in 2011 and served for several years in the State Planning Secretariat and the Ministry of Finance. Mr. Roopchan also served as the chairman of the Guyana Revenue Authority and sat on several boards. President Ali said he owes a lifetime of gratitude to Mr. Roopchan, who mentored and shaped his early development at the State Planning Secretariat. While in Buxton, the head of state spent some time interacting with members of the community.
On Wednesday, His Excellency visited Leguan to deliver on a commitment to residents who had sought his assistance for the establishment of a crematorium.
The $25 to $30 million facility is to be fully funded by the Ramroop Foundation, with work set to begin in less than 2 weeks.
They asked me to help to find a way in which they can build a cremation site. One that offers the level of respect to those of our families we are sending off. One that speak to a progressive, modern facility. And they asked if I could have intervened in having a facility like this. I told them on a few conditions. One, that all the temples are involved. Two, the NDC will be involved. A local management committee must be established because this is a local project.
He then reassured residents of Leguan that, like the rest of Guyana, they too will benefit from government's development programs. President Ali says the programs, which include infrastructural changes, will benefit both urban and rural locations in the country.
Very shortly, we will start your solar farm program. And the solar farm is going to be integrated in the GPL grid so that your day power will come from solar energy, and in the end, your cost of electricity will come down substantially. We are also going to do a solar farm in Wakenham.
President Ali also met residents of Yakusari, Blackbush Polder, Berbice. The head of state listened to various concerns raised by residents and provided immediate solutions. Many of the issues relating to government services were addressed on the spot, while residents with other matters were directed to the relevant officials. The president was accompanied by Minister of Public Works, the Honorable Bishop Juan Edgil, Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa, Security Advisor, Captain Jerry Gavaya, and Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force, Brigadier Godfrey Bess.
This has been the President's Diary, where we took a look at His Excellency Dr. Muhammad Irfaan Ali's week of activities. Thanks for watching. Join us again next week.